you got to check your language. Again, a lot of your language. See, people that I hang around with, they check my language. And that's what you essentially want, right? It's people that, like, wait a minute, you're not going to work 2 days in a row? Wait a minute, how you going to get started? You get people that want to get started, but what are you getting started for? You're getting started to make $5,000, right? So how you miss days? How you miss a training? Again, we think it's going to just come. And like I tell everybody, there's a lot of things I do in this business that I don't want to do. I don't necessarily want to be here. Like, my goal is to actually help develop someone that can actually do this. Like one of you guys, I want to develop one of you guys where you guys are doing this and I'm in the back of the room. But I don't want to do this, but I got to do it. Why? Because my goal, I got to keep this 5,000 going, right? However, which way. 5,000 has to come in on a monthly basis. Because after taxes, I mean, that's only what, 3,300? So we got to watch our language. Stop limiting yourselves by the things that you're saying about yourself. If people are going to talk negative about you, you can't control what other people say about you. You can't. You can't let the person that's negative be you about you, right? Because we all know we can't take a vacation from ourselves. So that's it. That's focus. Got to focus. Again, check your people. Check your bed. Check your language. And that's basically it. I'm going to do right now is I'm going to bring up some people from the panel that's going to talk to you guys about we got one young lady. Matter of fact, Michelle, you might as well come up. We got one young lady, Michelle, who's coming up now. Michelle's really great at doing networking events. Michelle is one of those individuals that you've seen grow, right? The thing about, you ever seen somebody transform, right? Once a caterpillar transforms to a butterfly, right? Even though it may want to, it just can't go back to being a caterpillar. It just can't because it transformed, right? So Michelle's going to talk to you guys about networking events. For those of you that like networking events. That's not my cup of tea because I'm kind of socially awkward type of person. So I don't really like networking events. But we're going to get a few things out of Michelle so she can give us some tips for those of you that are good. We're also going to be talking about social media. All right, and this young lady, she's actually on Facebook Live right now. She's always doing something on social media, from Twitter to Instagram to Facebook to every other one. She probably still got a poppin' MySpace page. That's like Eric Casado. Then we also have a gentleman that we're going to bring up, and he's really big on the 3-foot rule. You guys are going to learn a little bit about that. Carl, for anybody that knows, he's always has a business card or a flyer on him. He probably has some in his suit jacket right there. And he just passes them out. So, Carl, come on up. And we need another chair because I got my butt whipped today. And I got my butt whipped today because we have this fun competition that we do as leaders where we want to who invites the most amount of guests every meeting. So the next meeting is on November 3rd. So if you're a team player and you want to get part of the team camaraderie, there's a lot that happen outside that you guys need to know about. But you got to get to that first level we was talking about, regional sales director. Because we have a little meeting. That's what we was doing outside. All right, RSD meeting. But I told everybody on our leadership call, because we have calls to prepare for this. So about 2 weeks ago, we just introduced it. But the person who had the most guests We also want them to be on the panel so you guys can learn. For those of you that are team, want to have a team camaraderie and join the team in culture, and you want to have a lot of guests on November 3rd, we want to also have you hear from how she actually did it. So let's give it up for Pastor Anna. She had the most guests, right, Michelle? Yeah. She had the most guests. That's confirmed. All right, so let's do this. It's 3:36. Well, 3:37. So Michelle, let's start with you. Networking events. What do we need to know about networking events? How can we be productive when we go to networking events? We don't just want people to go to networking events and hang out, but to be productive. What are some things that they need to do to be productive at these networking events?
Okay, thank you. All right, well, good afternoon again, everyone. To be productive and going to the networking events, you just go and be yourself. Introduce yourself to others. Don't just stand on the sidelines. There are so many different individuals that you're going to meet there. Individuals who are entrepreneurs, have their own mom and pop shops, stores, from different various backgrounds. But you have to be, brave enough to go out there. And when you're speaking with the individuals, again, you introduce yourself to them and they ask you questions. Be honest, okay? Because sometimes what happens is when you go to different events, you may meet some of the same people there. And then they ask you a question again, they'll be like, okay. So just be honest. Be yourself. Learn how to be, a player in there. Use your charm. Yes. Use your charm, but don't overkill it. You know what I mean? So those are some different things that I do. And
how do you find these networking events?
I find them online. You can go to eventbrite.com. You can find them there. Also, just Google it. Do a Google search. And Facebook is another one. And also, when you have friends too, when you meet other individuals at these group meetings and so forth, events, they tell you about other events that's coming up. And they're actually willing to share it with you. And once they see that you're for real, because they have to know you, like you, and trust you, okay, first of all. And this is why I'm saying, don't be phony, be yourself. All right? They will let you know about other events and stuff that's coming about. So those are some ways, that you can do it. But just be diligent with whatever you do. Take a couple minutes, 5 minutes a day, if that much, and do your research. It actually makes a big difference, and it does help.
All right, before we go to the next person, I do want to know, what is the difference between going to a networking event, actually, let's say, having a table, and actually just going to a networking event just to go? Because you can network both ways, right?
Right.
So
yes, you can.
How do you work if you're just going to a networking event, and how do you work it if you're actually working it, like having a table?
Okay. What I actually do, instead of me putting it as, having a table, I do networking events versus networking groups. Okay, so that's how I differentiate between the two. Networking events, you will go out again, you meet all these different individuals. Networking groups, you actually will have a sit-down time. You introduce yourself to each other. You learn about each other. You do you do referrals for each other. No money is exchanged. They only do it on a point-basis system. There are a couple of networking groups that's out there. The only money exchange that they do is when they do a referral for you. Okay. That's when some money may be exchanged. But the majority of the groups that's out there is done on a point system. You are not obligated to having a massive, amount of points, but at least they want to see you doing something because they want to see that you're bringing value to the group. Okay, that's mainly the networking group. So that's your number one thing.
I have a question. When you say points, are you inviting people to that networking group as well? Is that what the points?
Yes, you are. Some of the groups, they are called seat exclusive. So they may have, again, individuals from different backgrounds and so forth. So like for myself, since I'm Ameriplan USA, so we offer supplemental services basically. So you may have another individual in there who's an attorney, you may have one who's a dentist, chiropractor, from all different backgrounds.
Very nice. All right, so let's give it up for Michelle. Let's give it up. Networking events are big, and if you don't like networking events, this is still this still needs to be of value to you because you'll probably recruit somebody on your team somewhere down the line that does want to, they love networking events, and then you'll be able to pass that information to them. So somewhere or another, it will be profitable. So let's go over to Zykira, Zykira Casado, Zykira, with the social media. How do you use social media effectively?
With social media, well, first of all, it's social media. So we have to remember that most people are not on social media for business. However, there is indirect ways and direct ways to find people that you're looking for. One very powerful way, specifically on Facebook, is through Facebook groups. There's very specific groups. There's buy groups. There are network marketing groups, work at home groups. There's all these different groups of people that you would never have been able to find or know that's there for a specific reason. So that's one area that's really that could be productive for you. Another thing is, even with your personal pages, even though you might be talking about food or talking about, like today, all of you are here. Like, it would be really dope if everybody went online and checked into the event and said, I was here at the Raleigh TAM meeting. Doesn't say that you were here for business, but at the end of the day, you're talking about your business without really talking about your business. Keeping in mind, again, most people are not there. But the beautiful part about social media, where I think most people don't realize, is that you eliminate the middleman. Back in the day, you had to go through someone else to get to the audience. Social media is the audience. So you don't have to go through anyone to get to the consumers. So in other words, if you can create something worth being attracted to, because again, social media works off of algorithms and those types of things, meaning that, I might see things that Demetrius or Michelle does because we communicate through social media. So it's based off of different things that you have no control over. So you have to be that purple cow, meaning like, if you ride through North Carolina, after a while, if you're from New Jersey, the first time you see some cows, it's like, oh my God, look at those cows. But after a while, the cows become just like the trees. But if you see a purple cow, you're going to stop. So you have to figure out how, and we all have it. There's no one in the room who doesn't have their own way of being a purple cow. Whether you love to, like Michelle, she loves gardening and she climbs trees, y'all. Like, she climbs trees. I would have never known that if it wasn't for social media. But there's other people who are like her that she can connect to in those groups or on Twitter or on Instagram, and still be able to find out that she has a business. So that's...
How can they, is everybody on, how many of y'all on Facebook right now? Okay, you have a Facebook. Wouldn't it be best, because Zykira does trainings for us every week, and you could actually see some of the archive trainings on our team Facebook page. So could you give them the information? Yes. If you guys want to do it right now, do it right now.
Pull out your phone to go to Facebook and type, and it's searchable now, so you can type m.i.
I didn't bring my phone in.
Write it down before you have it.
So it's MIT. So MIT, the number one team, is our group. It's a private group. It's a community page. However, we invite people to come because you are able, like Demetrius said, to see our trainings, see all the people we have on our team. And that's not all of Ameriplan. That's all of our team. So
what's the website?
So you would go to, if they just search MIT, the number one team in the Facebook group engine, you should be able to find us that way. MIT, the number one.
The symbol one?
The actual, I would do the word, the number one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So y'all got it?
The word one?
The word number and the word one.
All right, so that's social media. You could go on that, you just search exactly what she just mentioned, and you'll actually be able to look at all of her, Zykira's archived videos, from how to set up a Facebook account, how to do Facebook ads, how to post an ad on Craigslist, the scripts even, she puts that as well. So that's good. Let's give Zykira a round. That's good. And then we want to go over to Carl. Carl Ryan's. Carl is the 3-foot rule king. If you're in his space